Well, congratulations to Knight of the Realm, Sir Keir Starmer, for successfully beating out Britain's first ethnic minority Prime Minister. I'm sure he's thrilled to pieces. But seriously, I am delighted to see the back of the Tories. But I think, like most of us, I'm wondering how positive this is going to be, whether Keir Starmer is really going to do anything different. And first of all, that's because when you look at people who voted for the Labour Party in the general election, this is why they said they did it. Overwhelmingly, they did it to get rid of the Tories. Almost no one is voting for Keir Starmer and the Labour Party because they believe in policies they have or because they think he's definitely going to do the right thing. But I do think that there's some positive news here. Keir Starmer goes backward and forward on policies. He's made pledges, he's broken them, he's gone back and remade some of them in some circumstances. He's responded to pressure. And that does mean that if we put tons and tons of pressure on him to do the right thing over and over and over again, I think there's a chance that at least some of the time we can get him to do it. But it's not a question of sitting back and going, let's see what he does. No, we have to be absolutely foot to the floor, completely engaged in every single issue. And for that reason, there's going to be more news at Kate's coming out in the next few weeks than you usually see. And if you're not subscribed to the Patreon, you can subscribe to the Patreon site and you'll get all my videos without paying a thing. And that would be really great because then you'll definitely see what's coming up and you'll get information about those. The first one I want to talk about, perhaps unsurprisingly, is Palestine. So the week before the election, Keir Starmer effectively changed his position on Palestine. He had previously said that he would call for recognition of the state of Palestine immediately. And then last week, perhaps not noticed, a little bit subtly under the news, he said he would recognise Palestinian statehood, and this is such a Weasley phrase, in coordination with our allies. And just so you know, what that means is when the US does. And what when the US does means is when Israel tell the US that they're okay with that. And what that means is never. Because Netanyahu is never going to turn around and tell the US that he's okay with them recognising Palestinian statehood until there is no such thing as Palestine left to recognise as a state. It's an absolute weaselly cop-out. We must jump on every protest that we can get to, raise our voices on this issue as widely as we can and make sure that Keir Starmer knows that we care about this and that we're not going to stop talking about it and we're not going to stop demanding change until he steps up to the plate. And for that small number of people out there who still seem to think that what Israel is doing has some sense of reason or logic to it, I just wonder if you realise that the latest round of peace talks, which have now completely fallen away, the latest attempt at negotiating a ceasefire, which has completely ended, has largely ended because Netanyahu has said that he will no longer stop the genocide, even if all of the hostages are released. He was not even willing to offer a ceasefire in return for the release of all the hostages. So if you're one of these people who's like, all they have to do is release the hostages, which is not really a tenable position because the people being slaughtered are not the people who have the power to release the hostages. But nonetheless, just to be clear, that puts you not on Netanyahu's side at this point. He is not even doing that. And if you had the equally horrendous, I think, view that, oh, there's no such thing as an innocent Palestinian and that somehow Palestinians deserved or would respond to collective punishment, where is your line in the sand? Because Israel is bombing Lebanon as well right now. So what, are there any innocent Lebanese people? Like, that every line in the sand that anyone has attempted to draw, well, as long as there's no invasion of Rafah, well, as long as there's this, well, as long as there's this, there isn't. There's no line in the sand left. And I disagreed with all those previous lines in the sand as well, because I've always thought that attacking innocent people is completely untenable and unjustifiable. But at this stage, tell me what your line is that's left, because I don't know what possible position you can have. And we need to be united, completely united on this issue, and we need to be screaming it at Keir Starmer and the Labour Party as they step into the offices of power as loudly as we can and as often as we can until they can't ignore us and they can't, walk away from the situation, until they have to do something. Because I think, if nothing else, it's at least possible that we could get a new direction on this. So let's try to be optimistic. And I'll see you not even next week, but very soon. Please subscribe to my Patreon to see all of the videos I'm going to be putting out. Thank you. Increasingly, the mainstream media is terrible at informing the public of what is really going on. I'm only able to make these videos because people are generous enough to sponsor me making them, and if you're able to be a part of that, I would hugely appreciate it. It can cost as little as $1 a month, and you'll get loads of fun bonus content and lots of extras from me, and my undying gratitude. I also massively appreciate it if you're able to like, share these videos and let people out there know what's going on.